Just before we get to the dailies, let's tell you some of the things we'll be doing today on the program. There has been killings in the midst of all the furore, in the midst of all the foreign against invasion by the United States. We'll talk about that as far as the insecurity in Benue is concerned. We'll also talk about Anambra polls. It's just 48 hours, and about 16 political parties are gearing up for that election. We'll talk about, of course, that invasion as well. So Anambra polls is up for the people that are going to be at the polls, and the Anambra people, the Anambra, they call themselves, will make a decision whether to continue with Soludo or choose someone else. And then there'll be a segment that talks about their health. A gentleman, a surgeon, who, with robotics, conducted prostate surgery. We're going to look at all of that to treatment of prostate cancer. So it's going to be a robust conversation. But let's get to the papers. Bringing our analyst who is going to help us. Mr. Ambrose Igboke is a media consultant and Chairman Guild of Public Affairs Analysts of Nigeria, Enugu State Chapter. Mr. Igboke, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Good morning.
Fantastic. When I saw this headline by This Nigeria, I was almost a bit confused. I tried to make sense out of it, but it says, National Assembly bans sex for grades, okays 14-year jail for offenders, passes landmark law against practice in all Nigerian tertiary institutions. The headline feels to me like, was there a time sex for grades was allowed, or what do you make of it?
This state assembly, I don't know, sometimes they just dabble into things. I don't know whether they go through, whether there's serious talks sometimes, but into things they do or utterances they make, about some of the issues they discuss. Nigeria is burning with lots of issues, developmental issues and the rest. And you are banning something that was not even agreed on before. You can ban things that are, that were being practiced by law, and it doesn't. Those things were already a crime. Those things were already in our statute books. They were already a criminal in nature. So I don't know why they are saying that they have banned it or they have not banned it. Something that is already in our laws, you don't need to start banning on that. What you just do is enforcement. So rather than making all these pronouncements, they should do laws that empower civil society organizations, that empower victims to have access to justice, and not this kind of thing. So they should strengthen the judicial system, they should strengthen the prosecution system, the DPP, they should strengthen they should protect victims. Those are the things that they should be doing. 14 years, how many years have been brought out for looting of our treasury? How many years have they brought out to review those who steal all the billions we have been seeing? So how many years have they been gone for terrorists that have been killing our people in droves? How many years have they given people who are financing terrorists? The last time, I think it's UAE or Saudi Arabia that brought list of those sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. Nobody said anything about it. They kept quiet. And so sometimes I think the National Assembly just chases shadows instead of concentrating on things that matter. These things are already in our laws and our books, so they don't need to make proclamations about it anymore. Rather, they should have worked quietly with the judiciary to see where they can strengthen and make sure that victims have access to justice.
Interesting analysis there, Dr. Igboke. But let's head over to the Vanguard newspaper, which zeroes in on the conversations from the last 5 days or so. Foreign lobbyists fueling genocide claims in Nigeria. And that's where we started from, by the way. But I'll just dive deep into the riders for you. Discloses neutralization of 13,500 terrorists with 17,000 suspects arrested. Takes note of U.S. concerns about religious freedom violations. Moves to resolve areas of misunderstanding via diplomatic channels. No targeted killing of Christians. And just one more, because there are quite a number in Nigeria. That's Minister of Aviation writing to President Trump. And U.S. Senator Cruz vows to release names of officials involved in religious persecution. So it appears as if this, as we guessed from the beginning, is not going away anytime soon, Dr. Ibuke. So how well is the federal government doing to manage the situation based on what we're hearing now?
The federal government is not doing well at all. I am a public relation consultant and I'm a fellow of this chartered mediators, so I know these things. The federal government, first of all, the first reply they gave was that there's freedom of worship and that in Nigeria. That was not the question. The another one, the issue that they said there was religious tolerance in Nigeria. That was not the crux of the matter. If you have religious tolerance in Nigeria, yes, let's take it for granted. Then people gather in their churches or mosques and whatever, and you go and bomb them. What kind of religious tolerance is that? When churches have been bombed or mosques have been destroyed by terrorists, and you say you have religious tolerance. So any tolerance that does not protect the citizens from being massacred, then that is not the point. Donald Trump did not say that Nigeria has religious intolerance. He said that there was Christian genocide. Instead of defending that fact, we are saying that there is religious tolerance. So they missed it by the mark. Secondly, there is absence of Nigerian ambassador in Washington. That has also greatly affected what is happening. Because if there was an ambassador, he would have done, even while somebody like Ted Cruz and others were gathering this evidence or trying to make Nigeria a CPC, a country of particular concern, he would have gone to the Congress, he would have lobbied, he would have gotten lobbyist groups and treasure groups and the rest to see how he can intervene, or he or she can intervene. But no, we didn't have any representative. And, that is very disgraceful, actually, that for 2 years, Nigeria has no representative in their country. There are no high commissioners, there are no ambassadors. I think this is the first time this kind of thing is happening in the history, because I've not read it in the history books, that there was a time we were this low in international diplomacy. And then Nigeria is not even, too many people are speaking on the matter. It shows that the government is not even handling this matter well. Minister of Aviation, are you speaking as a lawyer in your personal capacity? Or are you speaking on behalf of the federal government? The other time I saw a U.S. envoy coming to see the president. Who is a U.S. envoy when we are talking about the president of the United States? An envoy is somebody who was just appointed. So we are talking about engaging at the highest level. We are bringing envoys to come here. If we are very serious, we should be able to move people like the vice president or even the secretary, Mark Rubio, to come. Not one lowly envoy that was just a civil servant. So these are not the things we are not behaving like a giant. We are behaving like dwarfs in Nigeria. And then too many people are talking. Voila will talk, Ononuga will issue press release. This is the time to have a concerted and concentrated response. We should be using diplomatic languages, not people spewing all kinds of trash on Twitter. And then they come together, different voices, cacophony everywhere. Is that how we run this country? I mean, we should become serious about the things we do, so that other countries can take us more seriously, so that other countries cannot use denigratory words against us, because we are first of all demeaning ourselves. So this is the time they should appoint somebody who will talk. The Minister of Foreign Affairs is there, and other they are special advisors of foreign affairs and all those. These are the people that should be talking now. All these other people should just concentrate on their works as minister and other things. Please let the federal government have one channel for responding to this issue, because the diplomacy like that.
Well said, Mr. Ibuke. I think the very first, I think it was on Tuesday, when I was making some remarks, exactly what I said. This is not the time. First, not everybody has the diplomatic tact and temperament within the presidency or within the cabinet. Just keep quiet. Let the people, Ambassador Tuga is there to do the talking. And if anyone else has to talk, it has to be either maybe Minister of Minister of Information, which I said. But I just feel the ambassador should be the one talking, because he understands that space a lot more and all of that. But now spokespersons are speaking. Other ministers I saw with the greatest sense of respect, our friend Festus Keyamo, I think he tweeted. I saw Dele Alake yesterday. Come on, man. Anyway. Let's go to the guy.
It looks like a Jankara market.
Everybody, I don't know. The Guardian newspaper, Referendum call heightens over a latest constitution reform plot. Referendum call heightens over a latest constitution reform plot. You know, this conversation, I don't think it's going to go away soon. And so my question to you in responding to or analyzing this headline is, why do you think that every president that comes, rather than taking what you will call, you know, that aggressive move to see how we can have a new, for instance, I saw a very brilliant write-up. Well, I call it a draft. It's like call it a draft proposal on how to reform governance structure in our country. This restructuring and getting a new constitution by SAN Olusegun. In fact, he did it so beautifully that he gave you what will gain in monetary terms. So it's not just talking, there are numbers attached to every part of whatever proposal is making. But we've always found out that governments come, the highest they do is piecemeal legislation amendments, the constitution, like is going on right now. But some of these gentlemen who are pushing for this are saying, look, we need an entirely new constitution. Olusegun says if we spread it across 4 years, we'll be able to get a brand new constitution. Why do you think they always run away and this call will never stop?
Well, why they run away, straight answer to your question is that it benefits them. It benefits those who are ruling. What we are running is a federal government, and in actual practice, a unitary system of government. So when you engrave fiscal federalism into this constitution, and you make it a truly federal government, just like we had between October 1st, 1960 and 15th January 1966, then you will find out that it will not benefit those who are ruling. I remember that what we had between this period I mentioned was a truly federal government where the center, where the federating states, that time there were regions. We had 3 regions, later we have made it 4. Eastern region, Western region, Midwestern region, and East and Northern region. We are actually in competition for development, positive competitions. Where at the time UNN was opening in 1960 as the first indigenous university, Western region immediately, brought up Ife and Lagos. And by the time we had 2 universities there, by the time we are still talking about the Benue came up university. So that's what we are talking about. We're competition. We have the Granite pyramids, leather, in the north. We have the and so these things we're progressing. We're having a serious competition. Then you pay tax to the center. But what do we have? The army took over and they changed it to a unitary system. One would have thought that by the time we're reviewing the constitution, the last time we truly reviewed the constitution, we had a very brand new constitution, was as far back as 1976, 1977, during the F.R.A. Williams Constitutional Review Committee that brought out the constitution that brought us to 1979 election. Imagine since 1979 till now, 1976, we are going almost 50 years. We are living the same constitution, patching it, we are importing all the decrees. It's made by the military government over the years. We changed them. What we just did was to change them into laws of the National Assembly in 1999. But when you say total overhaul, the people who are ruling may not be able to do it. Even if you are the one, you may not do it because it is actually favors them, massively. Because they control all the resources. Most things were lumped in the the exclusive list. And so the federating states come to Abuja every month to collect money from the Father Christmas in Abuja, and they go back. And their resources come from the states. So that's what made many states lazy. You see that many states cannot even pay salaries. Many states just depend on the handout in Abuja because there's laziness. But if states are allowed to tap their resources, if states are allowed to manage their own financial base, then they will be able to now have commensurate to what you have in your state. The federal government can say, okay, let's do taxing. You pay tax to the center, and then we can have a lean center, and then have the federating states have more wealth. Okay. But that is not happening. And that's not going to happen for time to be, because the people in the National Assembly, the presidency, and the people that are supposed to push for this are benefiting from the system the way it is right now.
Well said. We'll continue to mainstream all of the issues so that the advocates of this will have their say. As you said, you know, even as a non-lawyer, I can see some things in the Constitution. I'm like, who wrote this? You know, how did this come into our ground norm? But it's a ground norm. So this piecemeal issue, let's see how far it will take us. But thank you, Ms. Ambrose Igboke, media consultant, chairman, Guild of Public Affairs Analyst of Nigeria, Enugu State Chapter. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Okay, when we come back after this break, we'll be talking about the killings in Benue, one of the hot spots or flashpoints, if you will, when it comes to national insecurity, which has led to all of the arguments we're having about diplomacy and all of that. But hey, let's come back home to sort out our problems. We'll be joined by two people who understand what's playing out. Join us again.